Hey there, YouTubers. So going to do a installation video of this here Asus H610M-E D4. And I think, for the hell of it, I'm going to shoot it at a different angle than I normally do. Now, we are going to put in, I was originally thinking I5-12400f. This is the motherboard, the CPU that I was going to pair with this motherboard. However, the one that goes with the I5-12400f has not shown up yet. So guess what, folks? You get the I5-12400f installed in this one today. So I'm going to make a lot of the connections to include, let's see if we can do this, the power supply, which you can barely see there. Not going to make case connections. This motherboard will probably never see a computer case, just so you know. I'm only going to stick a RAM in it. There's supply shortages everywhere. Guess what? It has even affected this small YouTube channel, right? Can't even put the necessary amount of RAM in this thing that we need. Now, I've talked all kinds of crap about the stock coolers that come with these, at least for the i7, right? Don't waste your time if you buy this using the stock cooler. Upgrade it, okay? Then I've got this cat. You guys can't see the cat. He's driving me nuts off to the side. He needs attention. But we're gonna install the i5. So let's get into it. Now, if you're not familiar with 12th gen versus 10th, 11th, 8th, 9th, 6th, 7th, whatever, this is a little different, folks. They actually want you to take the plastic cover off, okay? Now if we get that off there, I might have to read the instructions, folks. This thing's not popping off. Alright, so just make sure I didn't break off anything on it. This lever pops back this way, okay? And then this guy comes this direction, okay? Unlike previous generations. Now, on here, there's a triangle right here, okay? You want to find that on your CPU, which is not like just going to jump out at you. In the U.S., we read from left to right. A lot of countries do, right? But that's one way to kind of look at it. Reading left to right, drop down, there's your triangle, okay? These CPUs are also a little more difficult to get out of the plastic than previous generations. Now also note, folks, there's grooves in here. 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. Alright. And even though I haven't even used this CPU, it actually looks a little dirty. Hey, you know what? That's an i3-12100f. I'll be back. We're not, we grabbed the wrong CPU. Here we go. So on this channel, I plan on getting an i9, Celeron, and a Pentium of the 12th gen. This isn't the right one either, folks. This is an i5-12600K. Maybe it's in the box. I already unboxed this, but there's a little window here and you can't see it, so let me find the CPU. Alright, so I probably won't edit that out. Who knows? Here is the actual CPU. Now, this is bound to be one of Intel's most popular CPUs, folks. Whether it's the i5-12400 or this one, this guy is going to get lots of work. Alright, so same thing. We're looking for the triangle, text, reading left to right. And like I said, 2 grooves on top, 2 grooves on the bottom. We'll drop this in here, gently of course. and I can tell you it's not in there. There it is. Not that you should shimmy this thing side to side, but you've got to visually be able to tell it's in there. It is. Now, we drop this thing back down. Okay. And this thing needs to hopefully do like so. And then this guy is going to, the lever arm is going to pop back under there. Now, I got to tell you folks, that is way scarier than the last generation. You can just feel this thing just bending. But hey, this is a much better CPU than past generations, so we'll take it. Now this motherboard, the H610M-E, I believe these are only Gen 3 M.2s, which is good because that's all we got. So we'll put the we're going to put an M.2 in. We'll put one stick of RAM in. We'll connect some of the power supply connectors. In case you don't know what SATA does, maybe we'll even connect to SATA, but I'm not going to use it. Here is the stock cooler, and if you're going to go i7-99, throw this out. It's going to be worthless if you want to get all the performance you can out of it. But there will be some people that say, you know, it's adequate. Now, you do not want to install any of the stock coolers basically on a hard surface like this. So pretty much, you know, either put it on something super soft or lift it up. But you can break off these little tips, bend them, and you know, that kind of thing. Before we do that though, let's unwind our 4-pin connector, find out where it's going to end up at. So we don't want to wrap this all the way around. We could, and actually this new CPU cooler, it is a little easier to hide this thing. Potentially we could go right there. So the bottom one is the CPU fan. I'm going to go ahead and put it in there, folks, and we're going to go with it in that spot. Now I need to line all 4 of these up. I'm lifting the motherboard up off the table because I do not want to have to use one of my 2 other Intel stock coolers. So this did not wrap nice and tight on there like I thought. I'm going to go ahead and just put it up here where I thought, where it should go anyways. But you know, sometimes you think, oh, I can wrap that around the CPU cooler and it'll be out of the way of everything. In this case, it's not going to be. Alright, so it's in there, folks. Now we just press these down. We're going to go one here, then we're going to go across. Okay, you want to hear that snap sound. Snap, snap, okay? Now I can set it back down. We'll put a twist tie on that later, just to get it out of the way. At least, you know, this new design, this thing is less likely to end up in the fan. So your computer will not boot to BIOS without a stick of RAM in it. You can go without the solid state drive, but you definitely need, and you really shouldn't, you know, move the motherboard by the CPU cooler, but we have developed some bad habits over the years. So this is just one 8 gig stick. Now, in case you don't know this, troubleshooting wise, always easier to just put one stick of RAM in, right? If there happens to be a problem with this other RAM slot or another stick of RAM, potentially that you put in there, this will at least allow you to boot to BIOS. You put the other stick in and it doesn't work, then at least you have an idea that it's the RAM. Maybe you didn't put the RAM in correctly. Alright, so I'm going to press this down on the left side, and then of course that RAM can only go in one way, in case you didn't know that. I should have showed you that, but the grooves here, this side to the which isn't really the midpoint, but This side is a little shorter than that side, okay? All right, M.2 for this build, and this may just end up being a storage drive. I may just steal another M.2 off a different computer, but we only have a gazillion M.2s. So I eventually will put Windows 11 on this. It's going to start off its life with probably Windows 10. And we'll put it here. This has no... So we need a couple parts, folks. Should have put the standoff in first. It's in a little bag. You'll need to screw that into the motherboard if you can get it out of here. And then we'll be able to screw the M.2 screw in. So this goes in, you know, basically a 30 to 45 degree angle. And we're going to take it back out. So 2280 is the size of this. That's the end one. So somehow we've got to screw this in. And actually it goes in pretty easy. Alright, now we can put our M.2 back in. Come in at this angle. Notice it can only go in one way. There's one groove in here. Match that up. Boom. Done. Right? Easy day. And of course I need a screwdriver. Preferably a magnetic tip one, okay? Putting these screws in will drive you apeshit without a magnetic tipped Phillips head. I'll be back. Alright, so we get Phillips head number 0, okay? And this is available at Walmart. I don't know how good this thing's going to be. I've never actually used this one. I actually use a number 2 all the time, magnetic, if you can believe that. This happens to be a really good quality one. Alright, so we'll tighten that all the way down, hopefully. Seems to be taking forever, which is kind of scary. Alright, it's in there. So there's that, folks. Now a lot of you may take this at this point and take it to your computer case and start making the connections there, right? In our case, this thing is never going to see a computer case, so I will show you the connections I'm going to make. And I had hoped that I'd be able to just clean up a little bit as I go, you know. One of my favorite sayings around here is clean as you go. I don't think my wife and son appreciate that very much, but that's what I always say. Alright, so we have a power supply, okay. This, let me move this over a second. This is a 650 BQ semi-modular, okay. Now, I'm not planning on pairing this thing up with, I don't think I'm going to pair it up with the 3090, 3080 Ti, 3070 Ti, or excuse me, 3080, 3070 Ti, maybe the 3070. We'll see. If people start asking for video, gaming videos, maybe we will. So this is a 24-pin connector. You know, sometimes these make a little snap. There you go. It's in there. This powers the motherboard, alright? Then we have CPU power connector. Now, if you're just watching this for the hell of it, you may find the other, let's rotate this a little more. You might find that other motherboards will have a 1x8, 1x8, 1x4, or two 1x8s, or really cheap ones from older generations will have just a 1x4 on them. Alright, so this guy, these can only go on here one way, okay? It's got dual tabs, and tabs are always to the outside. And that popped in there. And I keep touching this by the CPU cooler. Not a good idea. So that's about all the connections from the power supply. Now this guy, because this is the i5-12400f, the F meaning it needs a graphics card, will also need at a minimum PCIe connector, okay? However, we're not going to do that in this video. So the only other connectors that I need to do are the power switch. So this is a nice little gizmo that I use around here. Basically, it duplicates a lot of your case connectors. Has the power switch in here, which is the yellow-white one. Then we also have the hard drive light. We have the reset switch in there and a power LED. And then this guy to turn it on, this guy to reset it, okay? So, on this motherboard, back over yay. I've got to move this back. I'm going to do this upside down, which I never do, which is bad. I have to think about this. You want to get this right. It's usually a second set of 2 pins on the second row. So it'll be this one. This is I'm considering the first row, second row, third row. The top row there, or third row, should be the PC speaker. All right. And that is all. This is all I'm going to need to turn this thing on when I get to that point. Which, you know, I might as well fire it up for you guys, right? Alright, so we need to make sure that our power switch is on to the power supply. And once that's done, this doesn't have any lighting on it. And make sure, you know, all the cables are clear of the CPU fan. And then we'll hit our power button. And voila. Life. So this motherboard, pretty basic. There is no easy debug or anything. And obviously, without a graphics card, this thing's not going to display anything, right? So there you go, folks. That's me installing the i5-12400f into the Asus Prime H610M-E D4. Thanks for checking out the video. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you.